So it looks like Apple's gonna have to be forced to use the USB-C port on their iPhones if the reports are true that the EU is voting to make USB-C forced. And even with those votes, I still do not believe Apple is going to adopt it, and for one reason and one reason only. And I will tell you what that is after the intro. Hey, what is up everybody? Michael here, welcome back to Technoid. Now guys, if you are noticing the difference in the camera angle, yes, I'm using the GoPro. I do not have my microphone with me, so I apologize for the bad audio, but I am just using this as an experiment. I do hope you guys see the new footage. I will be experimenting to make it look a little bit better because it does look a little weird from first glance, but let me know your thoughts down below if you like this new footage. Anyway, what's going on everybody? It's good to be back as I said, and we're gonna go straight into it. So story number one, we're going to focus on Apple today, and then we'll do one extra. So first off, let's start with Apple. Now, as you know, Apple has their proprietary port, the Lightning port, and it's been around since 2012 with the dawn of the iPhone 5. Now, for years and years, people have been saying that Apple should adopt the standard USB-C, and Apple has continuously tried to avoid that by going shortcuts by USB-C to Lightning, USB-C to Lightning adapters, things like that. They just do not want to adopt it for the iPhone. With the iPad and the MacBooks, however, they're fine with that, with the exception of the budget ones. Well, that could all change because according to The Sun, not The Sun, the article from The Sun, apparently Apple could be forced to change the iPhone charging cable under the EU ruling. What that means is that, according to the article, they are going to have a further session. They haven't given a precise date where the EU is debating on forcing people to switch, companies, smartphone makers, to be adopting USB-C as a standard. They are debating whether they should force it or enforce it more heavily than they did before. And this could be big problems for Apple because Apple uses the Lightning port on almost everything. Now, on the one hand, I could understand where they're coming from, but I have a problem with this because of one reason. Apple will never put USB-C on an iPhone, and because that port is proprietary and it makes them money. And as long as Apple continues to use that port, they won't do it. Even if the EU has to force them, I personally believe Apple will never put that port on because I think they would rather give up putting ports on the phone than put USB-C. It would not make sense for them financially to put USB-C on because there would be not much profit to be made if it was proprietary, and also it's not what Apple would do. They would rather sell you extras like wireless charging pads that can send data wirelessly, things like that, to use a Lightning port to get money. So I could see Apple doing this, and there have been talks of Apple talking about a portless phone, which would make a lot of sense. But do I think they're going to do it? I don't know. But that's a scenario I could see Apple going to avoid USB-C. But that is my opinion, and if you disagree with it, that's fine. But I would like to see USB-C on the iPhone. It would be a good reason to convince me to go back to the iPhone, but that's another debate for another time. So that's story number one. Now let's get to something a little bit more seriously. I don't normally like to talk politics and stuff, but I do want to talk about this because this is a news and it's been going around for a while. And Apple is, of course, once again refusing to unlock the phone for the government. Now, the US General Attorney Barr basically said that has asked Apple for help, and of course Apple will not help unlock the phone. Apple's reasoning is because if they feel they do this, it will be easy for the government to access millions of people's data and usage. Now, I don't want to get political here, so all I'm going to say on this is this. I understand what Apple is doing, and I completely understand it. It would be nice if they would do it, but if they do really care about the privacy and protection of America and people that use iPhones in America, this is the route they have to go. And that is all I'm going to say. I'm not going to dive too into this because, again, I don't like to get political. I understand the circumstances on both sides. This was a shooter, this thing. That is why I'm not going to dive too deep into this issue. So all I'm going to say is if Apple does care about the privacy and security of people's phones in America, this is the route they are taking, and that is the route that they feel best to use. So now that we've got that story out of the way, let's keep moving. Next story is to all current users that have the iPhone 10 and 10s. If your smart battery case has been acting up like mine did in the past, well, good news. Apple has found there is a problem with these phone cases and are prepared to have a replacement program set up to help. Now, this has happened to me before, so I am happy to say that when I had the iPhone, this happened to my phone. My my lightning port charger would not work, nor would the Qi charging. This happened around the time of February and March, and in the article it does say that this warranty would work if you bought the case in January 2019 through April 2019, and of course they will replace it for free. I appreciate the fact that Apple is doing this, and I advise anyone, if you have a case that has these issues or have seen this, don't be afraid to go in and get a new one. And I appreciate Apple taking the time to do this, but this is with everything that Apple does. Anytime there's an issue, replacement program, replacement program, replacement program. At some point, you gotta stop and say, come on, Apple, like, enough of the replacement program crap. And last story up of the day, let's take a dive into OnePlus. Now, I have talked about OnePlus, and I have to admit, I love OnePlus. I like the logo, the motto, what they're doing. You're getting premium flagship results with under the price of a flagship smartphone nowadays. Well, unfortunately, it looks like they're going to be giving up their pop-up camera in favor of a punch hole, which means I was completely wrong in calling out. I feel like such an idiot. So, to OnLeaks, I am sorry. I am sorry. I take full responsibility for saying I hope you were wrong. I don't think it's true. I'm sorry. Because the latest leaks and rumors are now confirming that OnePlus is heading into the punch hole design. And I feel so terrible for calling him out that day. So for that, I apologize. Now, do I think that that is a good thing? It depends. I don't think it's bad because they're going in that route. But on the flip side, the pop-up camera was cooler. They made a big deal about it by giving you a full screen display, giving you so much like features in there as well. And their camera setup was fine. So it is going to be sad because now they have to go with the punch hole. But I do like the fact that, you know, they are trying to make things look better than they usually are. And I applaud OnePlus for giving it a go. The pop-up camera was cool. But what are you gonna do? And that's it for today's episode of Technoid. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know, again, your comments down below for the camera angle, if you prefer this or my phone. Let me hear your thoughts down below. And again, guys, I apologize about the bad audio quality. I will promise to fix that. Once I get the adapter, we will go back to using a standard microphone. But that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and peace!